Hello, this is ModelOmega, and you're watching Chapter 8 of my Thracia 776 play. After reuniting with the Fianna militia, Leif made his way west, led by the knight Carrion. Soon, Leif was at the foot of Purple Dragon Mountain, the base of Dagda's brigands. So, Chapter 8 in Thracia 776 is when you're finally able to have a preparation screen. Here, you can have full access to your convoy, trade items evenly among your units, and pick exactly who you want to deploy up to a minimum and maximum amount for the chapter. You no longer begin chapters anymore with all of your units pre-deployed. However, now that we have the preparation screen, there is one more extremely unique factor that Thracia 776 throws at us: fatigue. I'll go into how specifically fatigue works after the opening, but right now you can just know that it directly affects who you're allowed to put out in each chapter. This is Purple Dragon Mountain. Thank you, we can handle the rest. You can return to General Hannibal now. No, I'm not returning to Thracia. I've already informed General Hannibal. What? General Hannibal knows everything, Lord Leif. No, it's not just a general. Rumors about your survival have spread all over the peninsula. People are counting on you to stand up and unite those fighting against the Empire. And of course, I also feel proud that I can participate in the battle to liberate my country. Your country? You're not from Thracia? I was born into a Leinster knight's family. My father died in battle, but my mother and I were rescued by General Hannibal. Please, Lord Leif, allow me into your service. I want to be part of the battle to retake Leinster. I don't have such strength. I don't know whether I'm really capable of recapturing Leinster. There's no need to worry about that. Let us head for General Hannibal's mansion. He has a mansion? Yes, it's located on the mountain. There are many people like me staying there. Count Dorius has been training young knights under the protection of General Hannibal. What? Dorius? Did you say Count Dorius? The Count. He's alive. Will you come? Of course! Being able to see Count Dorius again is like a dream come true. Lord Leif, forgive my interruption, but bandits have appeared. They seem to attack a nearby village. What do you want to do? Help them, of course. You'll fight with us, right, Carrion? Of course, Lord Leif. It's strange, though. A bandit named Dagda is in charge of this area. His village is being attacked? Aw, see, Hannibal was really looking out for us in the long run. He's got the right idea here. And, oh gee, this is Dagda's area. Hopes nothing bad happened to him. I mean, he said he was going to get all of his guys to help us, but... oh, this doesn't look good. So, anyway, on to how fatigue works. In each chapter, your fatigue will rise by 1 point every time you attack, get attacked, or use a heal staff. If your fatigue value exceeds your maximum hit points by the end of the chapter, your unit becomes fatigued and cannot be selected for use in the next chapter. This has actually been increasing since the very start of the game, but since there was never a preparation screen, it never really went to work, and it was always reset by the end of each chapter. The only two ways to have a unit's fatigue drop to 0 now that we have the preparation screen are to have them sit out of a chapter or have them hold an S drink in the preparation screen. This fatigue system I think is really awesome. It adds a whole lot of extra depth to this game, and it kind of forces you to use more units than you otherwise might want to. I mean, in a lot of Fire Emblem games, aside from, say, Sacred Stones or Awakening, a lot of people will pick like one Cavalier to use, one Archer, 1 or 2 Mages. Well, in this, you kind of need to have a large variety of units if you want to actually be able to use a large variety of units. And S-Drinks, which would otherwise allow you to cheat the system, are very rare and quite expensive as well. Hey, give me the money that you promised. I have to get back to my own army. Sorry, but can you help us out just a bit more? Looks like some enemies showed up, so I need someone to guard this mansion. I still got some more work to do. damn, this is more than I bargained for. Alright then, let's get this over with. This chapter has a guidon at the end, by the way. In order to access this guidon, you need to capture the boss Rume and end the chapter with him still in your possession, just like 2x. Tanya and Dagda must also still be alive. Also, the boss Rume is actually a dragon knight, dismounted at the moment, and on turn 16 he will mount his dragon and become impossible to mount, because the only way to capture a mounted unit is to put them to sleep with a sleep staff, and you don't have a sleep staff this early in the game. Oh hey look, there's Marty! But he's a red unit. This gives me ideas. But, I mean, he hasn't really done anything to wrong me, so I think I'll just recruit him and just leave him sing in my convoy for the rest of the game. By the way, if you do actually want to re-recruit Marty, just have Othin or Havan talk to him. And remember that if he still had any weapons left by Chapter 3, he will actually attack you with them. Be forewarned. Capturing Rume is no easy task, by the way. He's sitting on a throne and has 14 defense, along with a bucket load of HP and pretty good speed. There's really only two candidates to take this guy down. You can use Finn with his Brave Lance, or Fergus with his Brave Sword. I prefer Finn because he has the weapon triangle advantage, but either way, you're going to need to weaken him first, either with Asfel's magic or a magic sword. Although, I would highly recommend that you do not pick Asfel for this chapter, or if you do, pay absolute microscopic attention to his fatigue level, because you need him for the next two chapters, and I mean badly. You'll see. Something you'll quickly notice about this chapter, everyone and their goddamn mother is using a poison weapon. The hunters have poison bows, and the brigands have poison axes. It's more annoying than anything else, because the poison weapons are pretty weak overall. But do pay close attention to the poison, because it can kill you in this game. Also, if you thought about stealing the poison weapons to use them yourself, I don't know why it does this, but whenever you steal a poison weapon of any kind, it turns into its iron counterpart. Ugh. In actuality, this is a great way to re-catch up Othin and Havan, as they're probably comparatively low level, having just gotten them back at this point. All of the enemies in this chapter are relatively low level and have low stats. It's a great way for them to get back into the game. Oh, and bring Shiva as well. His sword skills will come mighty useful against all the axe users here. I would also recommend that you do in this chapter what I did not, and that is don't deploy Leafus. I'm not really quite sure why I brought him with me. I don't steal anything with him, and I don't even really have him attack anybody. But he was at just enough fatigue that a couple actions pooped the guy out, and I couldn't bring him in the next chapter, when there were a buttload of doors and chests to open, and I had to make do with wet tissue paper durability Laura. Well, I did do something pretty cool with her, and I ended up doing it with Leafus in the next chapter as well, but I'll get into the specifics later. By the way, I don't think I actually mentioned this from the last chapter, but your fatigue that you got from Chapter 7 does carry over into this one. So if you decided to use that arena and abuse a bunch of your units to high level, expect to see basically no one available for this chapter but Ronan, Othin, and Havan. And also Leaf. He's forced to be deployed in every chapter, which means fatigue doesn't affect him. And I've been rambling on for about 8 minutes now, and I haven't introduced our new unit. Meet the Cavalier, Carrion, or Social Knight Carrion. Look, I know I use both terms the same, I just do that sometimes, it's something about me. Carrion is very similar to Fergus in a lot of respects. They're both knights that predominantly specialize in swords, though Carrion, being a cavalier, can use lances as well, which is something that kind of bothers me because lance knights use lances and swords, but they only use lances when they're mounted and swords when they're dismounted. But social knights and paladins use lances and swords mounted, but only swords dismounted. Oh, the dismounting in this game is just something I've never really agreed with. The lose your weapon thing, not the actual purpose of dismounting. Another thing that Carrion and Fergus have in common? They're both crit machines. Carrion doesn't have the magic PCC of 5, but it is still the second highest at 4, which is the same as Havan's. They both crit like wildfire. Carrion may not seem that special since he starts at level 1, but just give him a bit of time, and I would also recommend that you just load him up on Crusader Scrolls, because that'll basically boost all his growth rates to around 80, which means that he'll get a ton of great level ups in a row, and soon at level 5 he'll be outperforming some of your guys at level 10. And in Chapter 9, he receives a sort of special weapon that helps growing him even more. You'll see. But really, one of the more overriding reasons why Carrion and Fergus are such great units is they don't lose their primary weapon when they dismount, making them just as effective indoors or outdoors, even if indoors they lose a little bit of movement. As for whether you may want to promote Carrion or Fergus, that's actually a bit of a tough decision. Their promotion gains are overall good, but I mean, you'll probably get more out of promoting Fergus because you've had him for longer and he hasn't had a chance to use the Crusader Scrolls as much. Carrion probably actually doesn't need a promotion if he turns out good. I mean, what I do to him, he'll probably not need to promote, but if I had a spare Knight's Crest lying around and no one else really needed a promotion, yeah, they're worth it. I mean, if you held off on promoting him all the way till Chapter 22, then go ahead and just buy him a Knight's Crest from the shop and have him promote then. I mean, at least you'll get an extra point of movement out of it, even if you've already maxed all of his other stats. In general, I like to think that anyone that sort of starts at a high level and could use the bonuses like Finn, or people that gain an extra weapon type like Othin or Havan, or those that gain an extra skill like Shiva, are the best people to promote. And also anyone that promotes to a Sage, because magic in this game is broken, and Sage promotion gains are absolutely ridiculous. And of course there are also a few special cases like Karen, and sometimes Seifi, although I'll get into exactly why that would be necessary later. By the way, this chapter looks pretty short, and it actually can be pretty short, and I do finish this chapter very quickly. But if you really do need a lot of extra EXP, there are a large amount of reinforcements that come up until about turn 20. Though remember that you have to capture the boss before 16, or you won't be able to access the guide. By the way, you absolutely do want to access the guide. No extra unit like 4X, but a bunch of stuff that you want. 8X is also where you can re-recruit Dagda and Tanya. In fact, a little story, when I first played this game, I only looked up stuff up until Chapter 7, because that's what people told me. And I actually didn't know that there was a guide in this chapter, and I got to about 16 before I realized that, hey, where the heck were Dagda and Tanya? They just disappeared from the story. I mean, they mention them here, and then, they're gone. And then I also realized I was missing one of the Crusader Scrolls that I was supposed to have gotten. And, yeah, by the way, you do get one in that chapter, so if that isn't reason enough, and by the way, it's one of the best ones, yeah, you definitely want to go to 8X. Is it just me, or does the poison sound damage kind of remind you of the same kind of noise that a ghost would make in an old SNES game? I aggroed this warrior by mistake. I meant to engage him later. Thankfully, there's really nothing on him that the rest of these guys don't have, because everyone has poison weapons, so I can just kill this guy for the sake of killing him. Except Past Me didn't really seem to realize that, and he went through a bafflingly long stretch of me trying to figure out how I can weaken this guy enough for Finn to capture him. But thankfully, Past Me wised up and just had Leafus steal a Vulnerary from him. But even though I'm no longer trying to capture this warrior, he's still kind of a tough cookie. He's got a good amount of defense and speed and pretty good HP. This might take a bit. By the way, something I haven't really gone on record about is the translation patch doesn't really display the stat screen super well. So when you're attacking an enemy and you see this here, just know that in order from top to bottom, it's going level, HP, attack, defense, hit rate, crit rate, and then attack speed. Eventually, I just leave taking him out to Finn. I've always found that every other crit animation on Knights but Lances just looks silly. I mean, swing your weapon a whole bunch? Nah, just spin the lance a bit. They even kept it in Path of Radiance for Lance Knights, except they made it really stupid when they promoted, as they would spin the lance, hold it for like 2 seconds, and then stab someone with it, instead of spin and stab at the same time. Marty? Oh, no, you got the wrong guy. Turning your back isn't enough to hide yourself, you know. Anyway, what's the meaning of this? Oh, well, Gomez, What do you mean, well? Marty, I had no choice. Let's get this straight. Are you gonna betray Dagda and Lady Yvel and turn to the other side? Alright, you don't have to get so angry. So that means you're on our side, right? Marty! Oh, of course, yeah. By the way, that recruitment conversation is even funnier if you have Othin talk to him. It's almost like he's about to kill the poor guy. But, to be fair, if I had to deal with Gomez, who we'll see in the next chapter, I might actually find myself in Marty's position here, caught between a rock and a hard place. Also, something I've just noticed, this may be the only Fire Emblem game where brigands don't always immediately go for houses and destroy them. Here they're just sitting on them. Isn't that just weird? But you may notice that the rest of this chapter is probably going to proceed pretty normally until I get to the boss. Nothing really comes out and hits you with a curveball, so I'm just going to speed the rest of the stuff until I have to deal with the boss. And just for the record, the top left house gives you a Knight's Proof, and the bottom right gives you a Luck Ring, which increases the user's luck by 3. See you back in a bit. And we're back now. Now, since I didn't bring Fergus, my really only choice for capturing Rume is to use Finn and his Brave Lance, and hopefully deal 2 consecutive hits to take this guy out once I lower his HP enough. So, what I'm doing currently is I'm going to weaken him with Leaf, try to get him down to 8 HP, which is just enough that Finn can capture him with 2 hits from a Brave Lance while attempting to capture, and just hope that nothing goes wrong. This failed twice, as Leaf just crit him when I attacked him directly, and this time I just decided to have him attack at range. To save me from just crunching numbers here, just know that in order to have Leaf weaken this guy enough, I need to hit him 3 times with the light sword with only 1 enemy phase in between. If there's more than 1 enemy phase, he'll regain enough HP from the throne to make him above 8 HP, and Finn won't be able to capture him with 2 consecutive hits, meaning he'll have to wait and then attack again with Leaf and hope he doesn't crit or continue him to death. Leaf is able to double hit Rume with the light sword, so I'm actually hoping that one of the first 2 hits misses, because then if the next 2 hit, it won't immediately kill him. But that didn't happen, so I either have to wait for this guy to regain HP, or have Finn just attempt to cheese and capture the guy anyway. This might take a while. Also, I've noticed something a bit odd with the reinforcement schedule in this chapter. I've had instances where I had extra reinforcements appear in about the middle top of this chapter, but that only happens if I haven't already attacked the boss yet. Once I start attacking the boss, the reinforcements don't seem to come from the middle top area, and only just to the right and above where the house is, where that brigand there just spawned. They would also spawn to the mountain on the right, in between the 2 of them, but they don't, since I've attacked the boss for some reason. Oh, and Rume had a vulnerary, I forgot about that, so, well, that just kind of reset everything. I probably should have had Leafus steal it, but for some reason I have him with Shiva going to the house in the bottom right, when I should have sent someone else instead. Man, look at that. Either the enemies in this chapter are piss weak, or Carrion's 1 level up made him good enough that he can hold his own now. What a great guy. Othin is reminding me a lot of Nolan from Radiant Dawn, in that he's a fighter that specializes more in skill and speed than strength and HP. And I liked Nolan, and I liked Othin, but his low strength is starting to sort of bother me. I don't remember when I get a strength ring, but when I do, I'm probably going to give it to him. I mean, to further clarify, in every level up he's gotten to this point, Othin has gained 1 point of strength from his base. That's not looking so good. Oh, for the love of... Stop dodging all my attacks and wasting my light sword uses! Seriously, I'm on chapter 10 now, and Leaf has like 17 uses of the damn thing left. I don't want to have to waste a repair staff on it, for Christ's sake. I was tired of everyone missing the goddamn time, so I had Othin use his most accurate weapon to take this guy out. And I didn't mention this back in chapter 1, but another reason the Pooji is so great is it's actually the most accurate axe of the game, with 80% accuracy. Isn't that something? I'm at a conundrum here with Finn. I either risk killing this guy with the Brave Lance, or dealing basically no damage to this guy with a Short Lance. I probably could have just had him buy an iron weapon from the shop, but buying weapons is expensive. I probably could have given him a long lance from one of the soldiers if I had captured one in the previous few chapters, but I never had a reason to capture guys with lances because the only character that could use them was Karen, and Karen can't even use a long lance. It would just be wasting a valuable inventory space. Seifi only really needs 2 things when she levels up. She needs magic to heal better, and skill to heal more accurately. Everything else is just white noise, because any enemy that can reach her will capture her, and light magic is so rare that she's not useful as a combat unit. Though, I suppose there's also the extremely slim chance that she gains a movement point, but I think Leaf fulfilled our quota for the entire game. I actually just realized that Free Knights are not the only class that use mercenary animations when they dismount. Dragon Knights do them as well. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? It even ties into how they're viewed in this game and Genealogy of the Holy War. The Dragon Knights of Thracia often employed themselves as mercenaries, they say, because Thracia was a poor country and it was one of the few ways they could make money. And attempt number 4 with a light sword. Hopefully something, well, good happens this time. Well, 10 HP is a start. If I can have just one of my guys deal 2 damage to this guy, then I can capture him with Finn, assuming Finn hits both times. 37 hit rate isn't super great, but either Havan deals 5 damage to this guy and Finn captures him, or he hits both times and captures him himself. Well, guess it's still sticking to the original plan, but you did your work, buddy. But if I could just deal 1 more damage to this guy, then Finn would only have to hit once, and that would take a huge weight off my shoulders. Oh, so close. Well, hopefully everything turns out right in the end, and I don't have to restart this whole thing again. And success! Finally! Man, that took way longer than it should have. Thankfully, capturing this guy gives you more than just a guided chapter. He's holding some pretty great equipment as well. He's got a Knight's Proof, a Steel Lance, and a new weapon we've seen, the Horse Slayer. It's basically a hammer equivalent for horsemen, just like the halberd. It's a B rank though, so right now only Finn can use it, but it'll be useful. But that's about it for the gameplay portion of this chapter. Just have to go to that last house and have Leaf finish this. Won't be any more reinforcements. So I'll see you guys next with Chapter 8X. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please leave a comment, rate the video, and subscribe if you want to see more of Thracia 776. I'll see you guys later. Lord Leaf, I have brought the leader of the bandits. All right, let him pass. So you're the bandit leader. Your uniform just looks like that of the Thracian army. That's none of your business. Why don't you hurry up and kill me off? No, I have no such intention. I'll release you if you just answer one question. Release? Never! I'll be staining my name as a Dragon Knight if I take pity from an enemy. But you have a wife and children, right? If you die, they will suffer without income. That's really okay with you? You have your issues as well. I won't dig into your personal information, nor will I pursue you after this. What is it that you want to know? I want to know where the owner of this mansion, Dagda, and his daughter Tanya have gone. They're inside. Gomez is in there as well. He's out to kill them. All right, thanks. August, release this man, dragon and all. Yes. I'm sorry.